To paraphrase the late great Guns N' Roses, I see you standing there. You think you're so cool. Why don't you just settle in for a 15-round mock startup draft right here on Fantasy Sports Advice Network? Producer, hit that button. Welcome to another edition of the Dynasty Pulse right here on the Fantasy Sports Advice Network, and maybe talking West Tennessee 105.1 FM. I am bigz. Grindberg is below. Travis Hunter CB1 is down in the corner. That's Schultzy pushing the buttons. Cubano Kirko, Chev GPT is in the building. We're here to do a live draft or a mock draft for you. We're live. You're not. Because you're watching this on Saturday. Hit us in the comments.
If they're watching, they're alive.
Right. Hit us in the comments if you're old enough to get that reference from the cold open. How are you boys doing?
Doing awesome. Monster trade just went down in one of my Dynasty leagues that was coerced by my homeboys here. So welcome to Chiefs Kingdom. Rashee Rice, Kenneth Walker is now part of the squadron of the Grindberg. So I'm pumped. How you doing,
Your
boys?
trade has been deemed no longer responsible of any wrongdoing. Congratulations.
And it has caused a ripple through the fantasy environment.
It has. The league chat is going nuts. Marion Hampton, Quinshon Judkins, and Quentin Johnson just went to my opponent for Kenneth Walker, Chase Brown, and Rashee Rice. So do with that as you will, folks. We are in startup season, and there's no better time than doing a startup draft. I know the rookies haven't been, dispersed yet in the draft, but that's 2 weeks away. But we are ready to do a startup because they are going full force. Chev, what is going on Alive and Kale this week?
Well, you were talking about the trade, and it got me so excited my nipple chain started vibrating. So
yes, the nipple chains are on tonight.
Yeah.
Woo! Connected and everything. Is there a belly button connected to it too?
Connected to my belly button, which is also connected to my wallet chain. And it's really like a life-size best friend bracelet.
And which is also connected to his AirTag, which seems a little unnecessary because it's attached to his body, but hey, whatever.
Yeah. I actually just put the AirTag in my belly button.
Oh man, how did that one feel?
If you have to ask, you can't afford to know.
Check out his OnlyFans page, folks, and check it out. Alive and Kale and well. So $12.99. It's a special deal only tonight on the Dynasty Pulse. All right, Schultzy, how you doing there? Travis Hunter, he is now a cornerback, mostly now. Is that what's going on?
Yeah, man. All is right in the world. We're gonna get the usage out of Travis Hunter that was, the football gods, were trying to bestow upon us. And the Jaguars got a little ahead of themselves, a little overzealous, but that's okay. We're back on track.
Love it. All right, boys. It's time for mock draft season, and we are doing our first startup mock draft of 2026. So let's bring the board out. We've got a stacked house here, a bunch of ballers. So folks, this is where your ADP, this is where you're going to get the edge in your startups with this group here, because I can, already see a bunch of sharks in this room right now. Chev being one of them, bigz being another, Schultzy and myself, but we got too much Brian, Bradley Stalder. Oh, yeah, Benny knows ball, money ball. We got everybody in here from Mad Dog to Huncho Gap. So let's go, boys. Let's get this party started, and I'm going to start the draft right now. bigz, you're the 101. So what's your vibe here? Are you going quarterback? You going running back? I know you're bold, so I can just imagine what you are going to do with your pick. Let's start it up.
I am trading this pick back and acquiring a 27 first and something later in the 26 draft. So I'm going to draft a player that is truer to the ADP that I would be able to acquire, and nobody who's not in this room right now is gonna understand what's happening.
Christian McCaffrey. Okay, so we're not sure what's happening here.
Why?
All right. So what just happened there, Big?
He just drafted Jeremiah Smith. That's all I know.
I'm confused.
Oh, I just explained. So I'm going to be trading this draft pick back and acquiring more draft picks
Trade the draft
and
pick back.
27 assets. So I'm not going to have the 101. I'm not going to be in a position to be able to draft Bijan Robinson, who, truth be told, if I had the 101, that's probably who I would be taking. So I'm back later in this round, and Christian McCaffrey would be the guy that I would be acquiring.
Okay, well, here on Earth 616, you just took Christian McCaffrey 1-1.
Right,
but I also now have a 27 first.
Yep, not on Earth 616. You just took Christian McCaffrey 101 and startup.
Yeah. We're here to give the best advice. All right, so we're gonna get going here. Josh Allen going to 104. I'm sure the real deal is really happy about that fall here. First quarterback off the board. That's a pretty big slide here, in my opinion, in a super flex. You seeing this happen anywhere in your startups right now, guys?
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, people are fading quarterback more and more. I know one person for sure who does is Moneyball Nola. That's our guy Rocco. He's a fade quarterback early guy. I don't necessarily agree with it. I mean, here at 1-4, it's hard to not take Josh Allen. It's hard to not take Josh Allen. I mean, from a fantasy Hall of Fame output, like, he's one of the greatest fantasy quarterbacks of all time. And we're in the middle of his run. I don't have a problem with doing this. Also, as well, too, when does Drake May come off the board? Of course, Schultzy takes Jackson Smith and Jigba, just like he did in the Grindberg Invitational. And
I just got him at a premium, baby. Last year, that's a premium price.
Yeah.
Last year.
Yeah. Thus becoming my 13th reason.
Thus becoming the 13th. And you know what? This is an interesting start here because we even got, Puka Nacua sliding quite a bit now because, there is some skepticism about his future here. And, that maybe just catapulted JSN above him. So what's your thought process there, Schultzy, picking a wide receiver there and JSN over Puka? Because, in a lot of pre-draft stuff that I was reading up on and just doing my stuff, he was going ahead of JSN, not too long ago, as of, last week, essentially. So what's your thoughts here? Is that just based off of fate, or are you always a Puka behind JSN even before that news?
No, it's a tough choice either way. Like, pre-rehab news, but like, let's be real. I don't care how you slice it. I'm not drafting a guy in the first round of a startup who's currently in rehab. Like, that just isn't happening. Not when there's a guy who just came off the year Jackson Smith and Jigba had at however old he is, 23, 24 years old. Like, my God, younger than that, I don't know. I mean, like, good Lord. It's the options behind, like right behind, are still super elite to me. So, yeah, I am pushing Puka back because of what just happened.
Yeah. So would you say that was like that's just cause of what happened? So JSN, you're probably doing a 50-50 split before that, or is that just set in stone now because of the Puka situation?
If I'm drafting, if I have a giant portfolio of dynasty leagues, I pre what just happened, I would be pretty comfortable at a pretty even split with those two guys, especially considering Puka has said that like he didn't want to play past 28, which it could always change, right? Like, that's not like he's sticking to that for sure. But given the fact that like his career may be on that trajectory, like in dynasty, yeah, maybe you do want to step back and have some JSN shares to go with it.
Yeah, I mean, and that's totally fair. Now we're seeing now Drake May going at the looks like the 206, then 107, sorry, and then Puka going right after. Pretty standard at this stage. We're looking at, outside of bigz's pick here, pretty chalk at this stage. You know, Jahmyr Gibbs going at the 105. Any sort of apprehension here now that these quarterbacks are coming up here? You see Jayden Daniels coming off the board. Like, what's your guys' thoughts? Jayden Daniels, Drake May, Caleb Williams. I'm going to start with you there, Chev. What's your take on those three? Where do you got those three ranked as your three guys here?
They're all a part of. It's a 4-man tier 1 for me. Josh Allen, Drake May, Jayden Daniels, Lamar Jackson. That's my tier 1 when it comes to quarterbacks. So these guys going off the board. I feel like there's an overcorrection with Jayden Daniels. We overcorrected. Now we might be. Actually, it's not as bad as the overcorrection with CJ Stroud, but there's a bit of overcorrection. He moved to the front end of the first round. Oh, thank goodness. All right, there we go. All right. Got it in there. So I mean, he's at the back end of the first round. I'm comfortable and confident in his ability to return value there. So yeah, I feel great about him being able to just and in this particular range because he's near the second round, whereas we know what the ceiling is. And I don't think we've seen the actual ceiling. We've seen a really good rookie season and then an injury-riddled second season. So I think the truth is much closer to 2024 than it was 2025. I think David Blau is going to be really good for him as a play caller. Now, you just went double running back here, double tapped it, double thrust. So
Yeah.
just what
Hey,
about
as long as he doesn't triple pump, okay?
Yeah, that's why we double pumped. I don't want to get us taken off the air in West Tennessee.
Exactly.
So I wanted to make sure that we touched on Grindberg's thought process here, and just seeing what the haps were with Jeremiyah Love and Ashton Jeanty coming off the board this early.
I just completely love this, at that stage, the turn there. I could just see two generational talent guys that are going to be in the same conversation that Bijan and Gibbs are at this stage this year, right? Give me 2 years on that, and I think that's the same situation that we're going to have here. Both guys, elite talents, different type of prospects, obviously in their own, restraint here. I love Jeanty's power game, and he's, with Clint Kubiak as that play caller, I think he's going to have a little bit more rushing upside, but also in the pass catching game. I think he caught 56 catches last year, which is awesome for a rookie on a depleted offensive line. I like Jeremiyah Love coming in here, and if I can get these two guys right now on the turn here, I'm going to do it. And I'm splitting hairs between the two of these guys, honestly. In startups that I've done 4 now, headed into this week. And whenever I can, I get at least one or both of these guys. I'll trade back out of the first round just to get a sniff out of these guys, because I see, very much a Bijan Gibbs upside. And look at they're going in this draft right now, 102, 105. Give it a year, I could see these guys being in that same conversation. So yeah, I'm going to go with that. These power backs are going to, sustain, and that's my thought process here at this stage. And I wanted that level. I was hoping to get that double tap, and it ended up coming my way.
Hell yeah, I love it.
Love it. Awesome. All right, bigz, let's get your thought here, okay? You traded out, I guess, obviously, for McCaffrey. What's your thought process now on your draft here? Where are you headed?
I'm going to double tap on quarterbacks. 2 guys that I think are going to have
trade out again.
Leave the board open. See, that's a huge, huge slide here we see here. Schultzy getting value. The man of the value hour here, JSN, Caleb Williams, Loving what I see there, Schultzy. Talk me through the slip here out of Caleb, and obviously Joe Burrow as well, another guy that these quarterbacks are sliding quite a bit now.
Oh yeah, so it's funny because on our show sheet you had some potential questions, to ask us while we're doing this, and for mine you said like, what position do you think the dynasty market is undervaluing or overvaluing? And I was prepared to talk about how I felt like quarterbacks in startups were overvalued, and how last year in the Grindberg Invitational, I faded quarterbacks because they were going so high early, and I was just like, this feels nuts. Look at all these good players that are falling to me, and I'll figure it out later. And I did, and I won, right? It worked. But when you also look at like the scoring differential from the top of the quarterbacks, like the gap is not as strong as it was in the top 5 guys. Like still Josh Allen is there. And Chev was talking about it at the beginning that Josh Allen at 104 feels kind of nuts. And for me, being like a little bit anti-quarterback early in these, Josh Allen's the one exception for me. But on the flip side, even though I'm saying I typically like to scoop up the value early when all these quarterbacks are running, I mean, we're doing a mock right now, and I just picked at 207, and I picked the QB 5. Like, okay, now we're back on the flip side of that value. So yeah, I took Caleb Williams.
Love it. All right, Chev, let's look at your roster build here. Lamar going at the 111, probably unheard of last year at this stage of the game, and Malik Neighbors probably would never see that at that stage last year. So huge value here for you, my friend. What's your thought process after this? Where are you headed from now? I'm assuming you're going to go running back with your next pick. Maybe not, maybe wide receiver, depending on where I go. I'm going to go with my boy Mahomes, sliding to the 3rd round. I think he's still got a lot of value here moving forward. And yeah, he's recovering from an injury, but look at the weapons he's got now moving forward. So love the call there. Chev, what's your thought process here at the 302?
You're making me upset. That's my thought process. That's what I was going to do. Just an Eiffel Tower of pain to all my opponents if I get Patrick Mahomes and Lamar Jackson. You just get ready, choo-choo, and you ruined that for me, so I hope you're happy with yourself. So moving forward, now I have to pivot. Let's see here. Hold on. Let's see. Is he on the board?
Well, while we're waiting, I took Devon Achane. I forgot about the 3rd round reversal, and when I was going to double tap Jackson Dart and Patrick Mahomes, but then when Jackson Dart went, and I went, oh no, it's 3rd round reversal, I figured I'd go running back because I can wait on quarterback. And I know that Schultzy talked about waiting on quarterbacks, and but I'm pretty confident that I can do that.
All right, Chev, you got your your big pineapple. I think that's really good value here at this stage. He's proven some good stuff here. I think between him and Olave, for me, I think I'm splitting hairs between the two, but obviously with the youth and where I see the path for Ted, I think that's the call at this stage. Talk to me about Ted and how high you are, continuously been on him, and what you see in his sophomore year here in the NFL.
And don't call him Ted.
Sorry, my bad.
Yeah. Big pineapple, Tetairoa McMillan. Contested catch extraordinaire. We just saw the tip of the iceberg with what I think he's going to lay down as he grows, as Bryce Young continues to improve, as they continue to peel back the layers of this incredible skill set. And it was right here. It was between he and Colston Loveland, because I've already got pretty much what I feel like is my wide receiver 1. I think Tetairoa McMillan is going to work his way into the same range that, the Drake Londons, and potentially getting to where Amon-Ra St. Brown is as we go along after this year. I mean, 124 targets, 70 catches, 1,000 yards, 7 touchdowns. It's nothing to sneeze at, especially in the low volume, run heavy attack. So it was between he and Colston Loveland here. That's kind of been my strategy in startups, is to walk away with one of those two. And the reason being that I think that with an offseason to go back and really look at, what a guy's skill set is, but actually seeing it play out, you then have an opportunity to refine those things and give him more pure, clean opportunities to be your wide receiver one and design plays for him. I think the same thing is true for Colston Loveland, so that's why I went with Tetairoa McMillan here. Typically, it's one or the other, and I've just been clicking the button on Colston Loveland. So maybe later on in the draft, I go back and get another piece of that Bears passing attack just so I can stop the reign of Schultzy over here, just value king. So we'll see what happens.
The value king man is back, and we're gonna have to see how this kind of shakes out. So I'm going to do a quick recap here of the first 2 rounds because we're interested. Our viewers want to know. So let's give it a whirl here. Biggs with the unconventional pick, like he was going to trade back, picked CMC, Bijan at the 102, Jamar Chase 103, Josh Allen with a little bit of a slide here from what I've seen at the 104, Jahmyr Gibbs at 105, and then goes JSN, Drake May, Puka Nacua, Jayden Daniels, CeeDee Lamb, and then Lamar Jackson. And then we got the double tap at the young running backs at Ashton Jeanty and Jeremiyah Love on the turn. And then Chev swoops in with Malik Neighbors, Justin Jefferson, Brock Bowers, Amon-Ra St. Brown, and then Trey McBride in a tight end premium league. To see those guys slip is some value here. Then Caleb Williams, Joe Burrow, Jonathan Taylor, Drake London, and then Jackson Dart, and then Biggs finishes off the second round with Devon Achane. So we are headed into the third. We're about halfway through the third, and Benny's on the clock, and he's got a decision to make here. So he's got a decent start. He's got Drake May and Trey McBride. That's chalk for Benny. He loves his Trey McBride, so we'll see where he goes. My guess is wide receiver. But as this, draft unveils here, George Pickens. Now, that's a call above Chris Olave. Chev, would you make that call on Pickens over Olave at this stage, or are you firmly on your guy George Pickens?
I mean, we all know how much I love George Pickens, but that has its limits. I mean, Chris Olave got I believe 163 targets last year, either 156 or 163. So anytime you're throwing out numbers like that in terms of target count, target share, target volume, 30% target share, I don't see how you can pass that up. Now, do I believe that Pickens is a superior talent? Sure, but he's also he's also crazy. So, results may vary. Life's like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get from George Pickens. I can bank on Olave as long as his brain is not rattled or he's just in a blender. We're going to get some good solid production. We saw some things we like from Tyler Shuck, so therefore I would have to go with Chris Olave there, but that's just me. I could see why. I mean, if you think that Pickens is going to split it down the middle with CeeDee Lamb, that's a thing that people believe. Like they're not factoring in the fact that CeeDee Lamb was hurt. They believe that they're equals, and I think that they're really close talent-wise, but I mean, there's no way that CeeDee Lamb doesn't command more of a target share this year. A little bit of regression for Pickens could be on the way, so I have to go with I have to go with Chris Olave there, but I don't fault anyone for looking at what George Pickens has done, realizing the type of talent he is, and being like, yeah, I just want that dude.
Yeah. All right, Biggs, you're going to be on the turn here. Are you sticking to your quarterback double tap like you were the round before? We got a couple quarterbacks on the board here, Bo Nix, Brock Purdy, Dak Prescott. I know you're a big Dak guy. You had a big year last year, might be on the downslope. So what's your thought process here as you head into your double tap pick here?
So if Olave is available, I'm taking him and one quarterback. If he's not, then I'm taking two quarterbacks.
So
and I'm pretty sure that Too Much Brian is going to take him because he always snipes me.
Because he's just too much. So what are the quarterbacks you'd be thinking about then if Olave goes ahead?
I'm going Fernando Mendoza, Dak Prescott.
Oh, Mendoza. Interesting. Hey, talk to me about Fernando Mendoza because you've kind of been a guy that's been shying off of him. So as somebody that's been in his side the whole way through, a guy that's loved Fernando Mendoza, all the way back. Convince me here why Mendoza has been a change of heart for you all of a sudden.
It's not a change of heart. Context is king. We're talking about a dynasty startup, not the Raiders drafting the 101. Those are two different narratives. I don't want the Raiders in their team build in real life football to draft a quarterback at the 101. I want them to trade back. I want them to acquire value, acquire assets, help other parts of their team. But in fantasy, I'm fully on board with a rookie quarterback who has all the intangibles, the winning nature, the ability to do just about everything on the field. High floor guy. I don't hate that in fantasy.
So what's your
Especially
take on? Sorry,
especially with the draft capital that he's going to acquire. So, yeah.
talk me through Dak over Purdy.
I went against my instincts because Dak is an odd year guy, and this is an even year. So he goes 1 year, he spikes, the next year he flubs. But I think we can see some sustained success from him. He had a top 10 finish in 2025, and he's got George Pickens to throw to now, which having CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens together, I think that's a different dynamic than he's had in the past. So as long as he can avoid injury, I think he still has a top 10 quarterback ceiling. And let's end this odd year messing around.
Love it.
Luther Burden in the fourth. That is
Love that call. That's a great call. I would have picked him earlier.
I was getting ready to do it because I took Caleb.
Yeah, that's huge. I mean, let's open up that can of worms. Luther Burden goes ahead of guys like AJ Brown, T. Higgins, Garrett Wilson. Maybe for me, I think maybe the only guy that would take head of Luther out of that stage would have been maybe Garrett Wilson, but still not even at no. I'm taking Burden over that. I'm taking Burden over Rashee Rice. So I'm taking Burden over Nico Collins myself here. So not many guys I'm taking Luther Burden behind. So yeah, I do like that call here at the fourth. I've seen him go as high as the 312 in a startup. So what's your take here, Chev? Because you brought him up. You were the guy that noticed him going so early.
I think that there's a changing of the guard at hand in Chicago. And a big part of that being the fact that, you saw that when they started targeting Luther Burden and Colston Loveland, good things happened. Now, is that at the expense of Roma Dunze? Most likely. But this is the organization. This was Ben Johnson's first crop of guys. It's not Ryan Pohl's first rodeo, so he's the one that selected. He's the one that selected Roma Dunze, so he's not going to be completely on the outs, but he could be third in the pecking order because you can manufacture those targets for Luther Burden. And Colston Loveland just gets to operate with impunity with guys that can't cover him. So he's just going to get, some random nickel corner that's, I don't know, probably going to be selling insurance in a couple of years or something like that. So I don't know that I can take Luther Burden over Garrett Wilson. Mad Dog just got a hold of Garrett Wilson at the 4.8, I guess that is, or 4.9. So I don't think I could take him over Garrett Wilson, but also the environments are just so drastically different that I can understand why somebody wants to be early to the Luther Burden party. It's just a little too early, or in the early fourth round. I guess 4.4 is still technically considered early. Oh, it's my turn.
You just got sniped for Tyler Shuck, Chev.
Oh, that was never a part of my plan.
Going back to the quarterback thing earlier, I pulled up the startup draft from last year. I also had this exact same draft slot, and I didn't intentionally do that. However, I traded out of the 207, and the player who got selected at 207, Caleb Williams. So that there's a dead on consistency there. Here's the thing. I took him at QB8 in this mock draft. Last season, in a real startup draft, he was the QB8 at 207.
Nice. I think
So we've brought the value down ourselves back to, I think, a more appropriate level.
I mean, if this hits, if Luther Burden's what we think he is, if Colson Love is what we think he is, if the run game continues down the Ben Johnson path, the Ben Johnson freight train, we're going to run you over all the time game, then why wouldn't we want as much Caleb Williams, who's the benefactor of all this on a week in, week out basis, as humanly possible? Like QB8 might be the floor, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and this is something that we saw coming when he came out. It was going to take him a little bit of time to hit, and he started putting it together last year. Some of the throws that he was making in the playoffs were just like mind-boggling, and I see his progression every single year just getting better and better and better. And it's time for Caleb to. I wasn't in on him as a rookie, but it's time to be drafting him.
Yeah. 100%. I mean, it's time. Ben Johnson's shown what he can do with that offense in 1 year, and all these guys, the supporting cast, showing his cards. Luther Burden, Colson Loveland. I'm all in on these guys. Give me them everywhere I can. I'll pay a premium. I'm just that high on it. And yeah, I'm afraid to be wrong at this stage because I got a lot of shares, so I'm not afraid to do it.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. All right. That's our first rookie outside of Love going and Fernando Mendoza. So what are your thoughts here on Makai Lemon? We got a couple Carnell Tate truthers in Chev and bigz as their wide receiver one. And then Schultzy and I have Lemon as our wide receiver one. Kind of split here. Not sure where coach sits. Chev, do you know where coach sits in the debate here? Where
Makai Lemon is his wide receiver one.
Okay. So we're pretty split here. You know, I think that the draft capital is going to go to Carnell Tate. And I think right out of the gate, he's going to have an opportunity. Where do you think he lands there, bigz?
So I'm not going to argue Makai Lemon or Carnell Tate in this spot. It becomes, because we don't know their landing spots, their draft capital. We don't know any of that stuff except their on-field production in college. It's really a player preference thing, and I don't really see either one of them as far and away better than the others. I have Carnell Tate, Makai Lemon, and Jordan Tyson right there in 1A, B, and C. And so I'm not going to argue with anybody who's going to take any of them there. But dude just popped Makai Lemon and Carnell Tate back to back. I do love that.
Yeah, that's my son Mason upstairs in his room right now, drafting with us. So
Let's go.
Nice.
He is sharking right now. Burden at the 404. Yeah.
Thanks for creating the content there, Mace.
No
Giving us
kidding.
stuff to talk about. He's a future star.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I love the call on Burden. Maybe he hears me talking a lot about him. So, you know, following his dad's footsteps. Proud dad
Schultzy,
here.
you can push that draft board down if you'd like.
Oh yeah, good call.
All right,
Yeah, don't
Schultzy,
kill the chat.
you are going balls deep here on your veteran
Whoa.
running backs.
Ooh.
James Cook, Saquon Barkley, Derrick Henry, and a powerhouse wide receiver. And, you know, look at that stack at quarterback. Talk to me about your bold move here. You're going for the win in year one, aren't you?
Okay, so when I'm in these drafts and someone like James Cook is falling to the 4th round, and then Saquon Barkley's there still in the 5th, and then Derrick Henry is still there, I can't not do it. Like, these dudes are still that good, and like all three of those dudes have a couple of years. Like, I know Derrick Henry, we've said this for 4 years with Derrick Henry. He could still go 2 to 3 really strong, and I'm not going to be surprised at all. So I'm just scooping up the players that are falling to me, man. When you stack them with JSN and 2 who I think are going to be completely solid foundational quarterbacks in fantasy moving forward, I loaded up the veteran running backs. Like, that team's ready to fire it up, man.
And let's
They're
talk
ready
a
to-
little bit about draft strategy. And when you're in a dynasty startup, one of the strategies that kind of is predominant out there is drafting the best value at ADP. It's not necessarily the player, it's whoever in your tier has the best value at ADP. And if those guys are behind their ADP, that's what you want to pick.
Yep.
Guys who are falling.
Yep, because they're going to be the most added value as you gain, throughout the draft here. Now, Chev, you got a big pick here because you're right ahead of me. A couple of guys on your board, and I know you're ready to snipe me. I could just feel it in my veins. So
I
probably
almost
gonna
took
wait.
this guy.
You're gonna drain the board down just so that I can scramble some more. And
drain the board down, eh?
you betcha, boy.
I'll put a loony on it. That
You didn't,
won't.
you didn't. So I got my guy, and
oh, you son of a biscuit! Why are there no tight ends on this thing? This is pissing me off.
You just gotta find them. That's all.
Oh yeah, find them. Yeah, find them. Oh, cool. You're a cool guy. Not at all.
Yeah. Now this is an interesting one.
Yeah, double snipe me. End my suffering, brother.
Should I? I don't know where I'm headed here yet.
I'm drafting from my phone, so if the people watching see me just looking at my phone
down, yeah.
Yeah.
How much time do I have here? I guess look at it. Okay.
5, 4, 3.
Oldest trick in the book.
I'm like, which guy would piss Chev off the most? No, I'm just joking.
You already pissed me off to the maximum.
Yeah.
There's nothing else you can do to piss me off more.
Let's go.
Is that what you're gonna do? Fine. I don't care about your elbow.
Oh, Parker Washington.
Washington.
Round of a dynasty startup. My heart
is full. Schultzy. I mean, I'm a big Parker Washington guy. I think what we saw last year and the year before is here to stay. Trevor Lawrence really loves his safety valve here, and to see him go ahead of Brian Thomas Jr. back to back here. Talk to us a little bit about that situation here, Schultzy, and what's your take on that? And would you draft Brian Thomas ahead of Parker Washington at this stage, or is this fair value for the two?
I'm drafting Parker Washington and Jacoby Myers over Brian Thomas. And I'm feeling good about it. Now, in a dynasty startup, I'll give someone the argument that Thomas may move on, and the talent argument is there. But this regime traded for Jacoby Myers, gave him 2 draft picks for him, and extended him. He develops instant chemistry with Trevor Lawrence. He instantly is that dependable dude over the middle of the field that Brian Thomas failed to be for Trevor at multiple occasions here. And then Parker Washington emerges and also takes snaps away from BTJ, and the team feels good about that and keeps letting it happen as the season progresses, right? So the team's told you how they feel about him. So I understand if someone's going to say that the Brian Thomas talent and look at the rookie year, I'll give someone that argument. But for me, as long as he's under contract with the Jaguars, he's third fiddle right now, and honestly fourth if you throw Brenton Strange into the mix. I just don't think they like the guy very much. They didn't draft him, and as long as he's in Jacksonville, he's just not going to be the guy, I don't think.
Fair. Okay. Chev, what's your thoughts on this? Let's get your take.
I don't like when a Duval truther comes out and says the things that Schultzy just said. It's the quiet part that makes me real nervous. Because I don't want to believe that Brian Thomas Jr. is just a flash in the pan, but also I don't want to believe that Parker Washington wasn't real. Like, can two things be true, Schultzy? Can you allow me to be a Brian Thomas Jr. enjoyer and also be just so incredibly bricked up for Parker Washington that I have hearing?
I think the only way out here is hoping Brian Thomas ends up somewhere else. And then all your dreams will come true.
Don't say that. Don't say that. Here's it. All right. So interesting on this related note. Have any of y'all tried to trade for Brian Thomas?
I did it this off season.
I mean, we did it. We did
Yes,
it in that
you and I, yeah.
deal.
Yep. It was Brian Thomas and a first for Christian McCaffrey.
I think there might have been like something else small, but like
Mariota,
something weird. Oh, Mariota. Yeah. Who then got hurt the next week.
So, yeah, I mean, I got some value there, I thought, but, you know, if he's going to be third in the pecking order, yeah, that's a tough one for me. Okay, I'm going to bump the clock up.
That's why I felt good about trading him is just in Jacksonville. I could tell it was trending downward. And then, I mean, and I was holding hands with Chev in the cement aisle last offseason, talking about how Brian Thomas was about to get 2,500 yards and 69 touchdowns. Like, that's what I thought was about to happen. I mean, so yeah, 1 year later, I've completely 180 this situation.
Yeah. Yeah. Crazy stuff. All right. Bigz, you've been quiet here a little bit. You're getting loading up on tight ends on the corner turns, Fannin and Warren. I think that's great value in a tight end premium. And then you go with some veteran wide receivers. Talk to me about Terry McLaurin. And do you have optimism here headed into his next year here with Jayden Daniels fully recovered and, you know, him recovered from his injury? What's your thoughts here on McLaurin?
I mean, honestly, I just tapped the biggest ADP fallers as I talked about earlier. So we'll hope and see what happens. The Warren and Fannin picks, I got 2 second-year tight ends that both had over 100 targets as rookies. So there's nowhere to go but up for them. And I thought that was a good spot to do it, especially in a tight end superflex. But with the wide receivers, it's basically just like who's falling at this point. Do I think Devontae Adams and Terry McLaurin are going to play 14 games or more this year? I don't have a whole lot of faith in it, but at this point, they were the best options.
All right, Chev, you're up here. Don't got a tight end yet, and they seem to be falling pretty hard here. Gadsden, Laporta, Pitts, pretty much a run here, all in one row here. You know, there's a couple tight ends left, but I mean, the value slipped. Are you going to just punt now and continue on and see where else you can gain some value here, or what's your thought process?
I mean, if I didn't have to do like a Zapruder film search for tight ends, that would be fantastic. But I mean, I can wish in one hand and piss in the other one. I'm gonna try to find a worthwhile tight end here. Nope, I'm gonna punt. Here we go. Let's see here. What do I want to do? How much time do I have left? I got a minute left. Filibuster time. All right. So a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away, Christian McCaffrey went 101 in a startup draft in the year of our Lord 2026. Not only did he go 101, but also Daniel Jones is still on the board. He's going to stay on the board because I don't want any parts of that nonsense.
Hey, imagine telling someone in 2017, hey, this guy's going to be the 2026 startup 101.
Dude, I'm going to go to a local hospital and see if I can find somebody that's been in a coma since 2017 and try to do this.
You're never gonna believe this.
Hey, bud. 20 seconds. I gotta crap or get off the pot, and I don't know what I want to do here. There's just no tight ends for me to take. I don't know. I have to punt now. Oh no. 10, 9, 8. Am I counting myself down? Golly. God, you suck. All right.
Oh, Watson it is. All right. So now
him and his paper mache hamstrings are now a part of the Chev GPT empire.
Hey, Jordan Tyson the round before, Christian Watson the round after. Do we have any other hamstring candidates? Oh, dude, Ramondre Stevenson is right there.
Mm-hmm. Are we gonna do it?
Oh, I'll do
you
it.
Want to dance? You want to dance? Let's see. Should I take the number? Should I take? Oh no. I know what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna shut you guys up about this whole tight end situation. Get this Pam situation.
Dalton Kincaid. So what's your take on him? I mean, that's a good value here. I think, you're getting him later than, and then Bretton Strange here, somebody mentioned in the chat. So Kincaid over Strange here, Chev?
Yeah, unquestionably. I mean, Dalton Kincaid has a chance to be the number one in his offense. He was already number one in the league in targets per route run. He was already, yards per route run versus man for tight ends. He was number one. He was number 3 in the league behind Colston Loveland and Tucker Kraft, if I'm not mistaken. So Dalton Kincaid has all the advanced metrics. It's just the only thing holding him back is the fact that, he misses a lot of games. He only ran 180 routes last year. So that sample size is kind of limited. But with Frank Reich coming in, his usage of the tight ends when he was in Indianapolis, no, not Frank Reich, Pete Carmichael. Yes, his historical usage of the tight end when he was in New Orleans, rather. Sorry, I have a whole thing worked up about Frank Reich, so I got excited to talk about him. But also, I think the year-over-year usage with the way that Joe Brady wants to run his offense and he hates wide receivers. That's why he brought DJ Moore there to die. And the way that they use Dalton Kincaid, I think that there's major breakout potential. I just can't say it with my whole chest like I did with Tucker Kraft. But there's a great opportunity here, especially in tight end premium.
Love it. All right. So next up on the board here is Schultzy. You got a pretty nice build going on here, getting value wherever it's coming and taking Kyle Pitts before the tight end run happened. You got a bunch of solid running backs. I can see you coming back here with probably somewhat of a veteran wide receiver. What's that?
Oh, you can take a stab. You might get it.
Yeah, I'm probably looking at you here, looking at Jacoby Myers as your guy, as your target here, because you mentioned him above Brian Thomas Jr. So pretty obvious pick here, if you ask me. Schultzy, what are your thoughts?
Oh, yeah. I mean, with the build I've made, first of all, I get to pair him with Trevor Lawrence since I took him earlier, but I mean that the team I've built is all dudes producing right now. And Jacoby Myers is producing now, but I also at this point, and I don't think on my team, I don't need the home run hitter, and Jacoby Myers he's going to hit singles every single week. And those dudes can be invaluable for your team. Like sometimes it's the dudes who do nothing that'll kill your week.
Absolutely. So now Jacoby Myers kind of was the spark plug. Once that call happened and that switch came to the Jags, things started clicking for them. So I see a lot of that happening here. Obviously, their running back room has seen some change here, Schultzy. So you had Bashal Tootin, I think, as a fade on our show last week that you weren't able to attend. So talk to us a little bit about that and how high you are on this one Chris Rodriguez that we may see bump up the board in the next little while here.
Yeah, I mean, I love Bashal Tootin, the player. I think we're steaming him up to the point like he's going to get like workhorse volume. I just don't see that happening. Chris Rodriguez comes in, and I mean, this is a guy who played for Liam Cohen in Kentucky, and Cohen just has like incredible things to say about him. How he's a really tough runner, always falls forward, like he gets tough yards. He profiles like he's going to be the early down guy for this team, and Tootin's going to be the receiving back. And I mean, he's going to get some of his carries too, but Chris Rodriguez is gonna he's gonna eat away at these snaps, and he's going to be the value of this backfield. Like, I don't know where he's going to fall in startups. I don't know where he's going to fall in redraft, but like, to me, that's where the value in the backfield is going to be.
Yeah, those goal line touches, the valuable stuff up the middle there. Yeah, and they're going to be in range there. And I don't think that they want to put Trevor in harm's way like they did last year a little bit. You saw Trevor rush for quite a few touchdowns, and I think that might be a little bit of a change here. Etienne was an outside zone guy that really was able to manipulate that on those dump offs and stuff. So I see that Tutin probably taking on that role quite easily, and then Chris Rodriguez providing some of that brute strength up the middle that they really haven't seen in quite some time.
Yep, I think that's pretty dead on. I don't want to take away from Tutin. I think he's be a great player. I just think where he's getting taken is, I think the projection on the volume is a little strong, I think.
And then back to bigz here. You got some. Oh yeah. So sorry there, Chev. Go ahead.
For the value, the projection for utilization for Tutin, you feel like is bullish?
Yes.
Okay. I think I agree. I mean, I agree with you.
Yeah,
I wasn't going to say anything groundbreaking. I haven't heard enough people say that. So hearing a Jags fan say that out loud is like, okay, good. I'm on the right track.
Mm-hmm. So bigz, to your value picking here, getting Michael Wilson at the 9-12, pretty much a 10th round pick at this stage, where he could very well be the number one wide receiver again in Arizona. We've seen him, do really good things with Jacoby Brissett. Obviously, Marvin Harrison Jr. took some time off last year with some injuries. But what's your take here on Michael Wilson? Is he the bona fide number one there, or do you think this is Marvin Harrison Jr. Year 3 breakout?
Well, yeah, we talk all the time about third-year breakouts. Michael Wilson, third year, finishes PPR wide receiver 10. I think that's real. And Marvin Harrison Jr., obviously uber talented. I can see them both surviving in an offense. I can see the Arizona Cardinals with Trey McBride and two really good wide receivers emerging in that NFC West division, not necessarily being a playoff team or what have you. They have too many holes, but as far as their offense is concerned, they could have a lot of garbage time points. Brissett has 3 weapons to throw to. The potential is there for all of them, and as a corner spot in the draft with 22 picks that go, I had to capitalize on Michael Wilson's potential. And then I really like Denzel Boston contributing immediately. So,
yeah, you're one of the highest I've seen on Denzel Boston. You got him as your wide receiver 4 in this class, ahead of likes like Casey Concepcion and Omar Cooper. So maybe talk to us a little bit about what you see in Denzel Boston and why you think he's going to emerge right away in an NFL offense.
I think he does everything on the field, and he's got excellent body control. If he's off his feet in the air, he's usually coming down with the ball. I think he had 10 out of 12 contested catches in 2025, which that rate is pretty spectacular. He's got all the tools, and he's a big X receiver. He's gonna be on somebody's radar to take in the draft. A lot of what we have to talk about is draft capital. And I think he does get draft capital over some of the other rookie wide receivers that we really love. So I think that plays a lot into it. And then I watch Washington football every week. And so I've been able to see what he does on the field, and especially what he brought to the offense once that class of Polk, Odunze, and McMillan left. And he can be a primary guy in an offense. And I like that. So as a wide receiver 4, it's a shot I'm willing to take, especially investing in the youth, taking a rookie that plays out in Dynasty, even if I have to wait a couple years for him to absolutely impress.
Yeah, love it. Bigz.
Bastard. Okay, all right. I see the game that we're playing now. bud. Okay, all right.
this is kind of the spot here for me to take these running backs at this stage, these RB2s in this class that we're really not sure about. Emmett Johnson, Mike Washington, the 10th, 11th round, where, draft capital and landing spot's going to depict where they go. I still see Jonathan Brooks as a better prospect than all those guys, so that's why I reached for him in the 9th round. I see a path for him. I love Chuba Hubbard, and I think that this could be a very good dual backfield. And I think that Canales really likes what he sees in Brooks and Hubbard, and I think that backfield is going to be very good next year. And to pair that up with Emmett Johnson and Mike Washington, I'm very, very happy with where my young team is headed here, and some upside here with those two guys, especially with really not having to take a huge stab at reaching for them either. Chev, what's your thoughts?
Well, I'm just generally pissed that you took both Mike Washington and Emmett Johnson there. I was trying to be slick and give me another receiver, just load up on the wide receivers, and it bit me in my butt. It's fine. It's fine. This is fine. It's cool. It's great. Love that. Love having a great time. Having a great time here. Thanks a lot, Mike.
Hey, only one of your 2 picks got shot.
Yeah, there it is.
That's true. That is true.
Hey, and if this is baseball, man, 50%, you're killing it.
Oh, yes. Shots fired. All right.
Literally,
Chev.
shots fired.
Yeah, there you go. Jayden Reed. Like the pick there. You've been a Jayden Reed guy. Romeo Dobbs now moving forward on. Do you see, brighter fields ahead here for Jayden Reed? All the tools are there for him, but just hasn't really translated in a lot of usage. So is it going to be the same old thing in Green Bay? They're going to spread the ball around, or do you think now that there's less mouths to feed, they're going to consolidate some target share there a little bit more?
Are you talking to me? Did you?
Yeah. You.
I swear I thought
Reed.
you said bigz. That's why I wasn't like. So, are you saying they're going to consolidate the target share?
Will they? What's your thoughts on Jayden Reed now?
I am hoping that the removal of Romeo Dobbs opens it up for either him or Dontavian Wicks, who would have been. I'm just going to bet, because all these guys aren't going to stay in Green Bay forever. It's a contract year for Jayden Reed. It's a contract year for Christian Watson. It's almost, Dontavian Wicks has a little bit of time left. Matthew Golden stays, but also, Ted Hurst, what a pick right there. What a pick. What a stud. What a studly Dudley. Okay,
that's my 12-year-old.
Yeah, you're raising him up right. All right. One thing he's never going to do is take Christian McCaffrey 101.
Me either.
but I'm hoping against hope that they somehow realize that Jayden Reed is good at American tackle football and decide to give him the opportunity to be good at American tackle football. Like that's what I'm hoping for. And if that plays out, that would make me really happy. But there's a good chance that we just have to wait for him to be on a new team to earn targets or be targeted at a high rate. Him and Josh Downs, you can't convince me that they're not good at football, but their teams treat them like they're not good at football. So it kind of sucks.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Biggs, we've been really high on Jayden Reed through the years here, and it's just been a crime to see how the usage has been spread out over the years. Hoping to see some, that solidified a little bit more moving forward, but not crazy optimistic here. What do you think? What's your vibe here moving
on
forward?
Jayden Reed?
Yeah, and the Packers offense in general here.
We talk about it every week on the fantasy forecast. It's really hard week to week to know which Green Bay Packer is going to, prevail each week. Jayden Reed could have some spike weeks in best ball. Romeo Doubs can lead the team. Christian Watson, if he stays healthy, he could lead the team. Tucker Kraft is there. It's such a wealth of targets for Jordan Love, and that Green Bay offense is such that there's not one go-to guy. They spread the ball around. There's a bunch of weapons, and it's hard to pinpoint. So at value, I like Jayden Reed right there. But the days of drafting him as a wide receiver 2 or 3 are gone.
Yeah. So what's everybody's thoughts on this AJ Brown rumors here? Because Schultzy getting Romeo Doubs at the 1107, I think is pretty good value here from where I thought as being one of the most sought after free agents, and I like the landing spot. I enjoy seeing Romeo Doubs, playing Green Bay. I think this is a good opportunity. But where do you see his opportunity here, there, Schultzy? Seeing how you picked him, and are you afraid of the AJ Brown situation? Do you think AJ Brown comes in and just monopolizes the targets from that wide receiver room, or do you think it could be split? What's your take on Romeo Doubs? Obviously, getting him at a value here.
Well, the way I look at it, is even if let's say they pull this trade off or draft an alpha, in a few weeks here, and then Romeo Doubs is all of a sudden wide receiver 2. Well, he's kind of never been the guy in the first place, and he's always kind of been a pretty decent fantasy piece, and all of a sudden he gets to play with Drake May. So that's a big upgrade. So yeah, if he's not the guy, I still think this is fine value. If he is the guy, this is great value.
Now, you talk about them drafting an alpha. You know who would be the best one? Denzel Boston. Get it?
I see.
Yes, there you go. Yeah, I'm a little bit slow at this stage of the game. All right, so it's my pick here. Nice pick, Chev. Swooping in there on the guy that I was going to go for, so delays me a couple seconds here. Let's see if I can find.
Might as well just hoard if we're going to just do the whole deal.
Yeah. All right, do that, and let's go there. All right, there we go. Jake Ferguson, that's a nice pick here on the auto. I think he's still a
Cowboys fan, so he set a queue for all Cowboys.
There you go. Okay, Dowdle, ex Cowboy guy. Love it. Now, what do we think happens here in this Commanders backfield there if they don't go ahead and draft Jeremiyah Love? Where are we headed here, guys? Bigz, you think that this backfield is going to be a Rachaad White backfield, Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt? Where does it happen? I mean, it has the all the writings of them, looking to upgrade at running back here. But what do you think happens here?
Man, what are you asking me for? Do I look like a fortune teller? Do I have a crystal ball over here? No, I like Rachaad White. I wasn't huge on Krosky-Merritt. I know that he had some big weeks, but you're asking questions about another muddled offensive situation. We just kind of have to see everything play out. I believe in Rachaad White's profile, his ability to do everything on the field. If they didn't have another running back in the room, I think Rachaad White still could do everything. But Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt is younger, and that's probably the direction that I'd go.
Gotcha. Yep. There you go. I mean, he showed out a little bit last year in his rookie season, was able to take on that backfield and do some things at times. So, yeah, I don't mind that call. I'm hoping that they bring in Jeremiyah Love to really spice things up and really catapult Jayden Daniels to that next tier.
They've got to do something to get some semblance of a run game going, because this is ridiculous.
Yeah, agreed. So you think Jeremiyah Love is obviously the chalk call, but
he's not going to be there.
Yeah. So where do you think? What do you think happens then? Do you think they make a move in free agency here? I mean, there's like a trade could go down the pipeline. What do they do?
Well, I mean, they continue to. Oh my God.
Exactly. That could be almost as good as the 101 pick.
My goodness. So I think that they could rock out with Jerome Ford and Ja'Cory Krosky Merritt or Bill. Well, it seems like I forgot to call him Bill because there's no football being played now, and everybody was just like Bill, 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 and Rashad. I mean, I think that it could be better. It can be better. Jeremiyah Love isn't going to be there, so let's not even put that nonsense into the atmosphere now. Okay, if he's there at 7, something's gone horribly wrong.
You think so? Okay, so like for a running back to go that high, that would be the highest ever drafted running back, if I'm not mistaken, at 7, right?
No. Saquon Barkley went 2. Kajana Carter went 1 overall. Reggie Bush went 2.
Okay.
Bijan went what? Did Bijan go 6? Ashton Jeanty went 6 last year.
7. Sorry, yeah, 7.
Fournette was 4.
Yeah.
Uncle Leo.
Yeah, Uncle Lenny, who's been bald since he was 12 years old.
Oh, and your son took Chris Rodriguez from me because I had that one ready to go.
Benny took Chris.
This kid is all over it.
Yeah. Yeah, he listens to he watches the Dynasty Pulse weekly.
He watches the Pulse. If you want to be all over it, watch the Dynasty Pulse.
He gets the edge. He gets the edge he needs to stay ahead of the competition. Love
as
it.
long as he's not getting edged. That's
there it is. Yes.
Or edging.
Or edging. Or hedging.
Yeah. All that.
All of the above. All right. We're almost done this draft. This has been great stuff here, guys. About an hour in. Not too much time here to do a complete recap here, but let's kind of talk about it as we go. Chev, take a look at the board. Who do you like? Whose team do you like the best out of everybody so far? And then we'll go with bigz, and then we'll go with Schultzy, and then we'll finish it off with mine.
Let's see here. I mean, I really like. I'm gonna be honest with you. I really like Mason's team. It's high risk. It's high risk, high reward. But I'll go with Stalder, FF Stalder, Jamar Chase, Drake London, Bo Nix, Brock Purdy, who I'm way higher than consensus on. Then Roma Dunze in the 5th, Josh Jacobs. I didn't like DJ Moore in the 7th. Let's scroll down. Can you scroll down for a little bit for me? And then, I mean, we kind of fall off there, but that first 6 rounds was a spiritual experience for me. I'm not going to lie to you. And I mean, seriously, I mean, that's great. And then, I don't. Benny knows ball. I don't love that. Let's move. I'll go for kicks and gigs. I'll just say Moneyball Nola.
Moneyball Nola. Let's go. I do like that build too. Getting some certainly some value here, and if Scatabo can dodge a Jeremiyah Love bullet here, he may.
He will. He will. Jeremiyah Love won't be available at 5. That's fine.
Yeah, he's going to the Titans just straight up.
That's right.
He's Tennessee Titan. All right, bigz. Yeah. Who's your crown of the draft outside of your team?
I gotta go Mason and Bradley. FF Stalder. I really like those builds. I would question the second quarterback that Mason took. If we're looking at, I just fell in love with Schultzy's draft. Nice. I give it to Schultzy.
Wow, I finally beat bigz in draft.
No, you didn't beat me, but apart from mine, yours is probably my favorite.
We thought that you were abstaining yourself when you took Christian McCaffrey 101. So
you disqualified yourself. All right, Schultzy, what do you got here? Who's your champion?
I like Shizzy over here. I think this is good. I love Gibbs. I mean, if we follow the Dak Prescott every other year theory, it's Joe Burrow's turn. So that's great. I mean, Nico is a fine pick at 308. I probably would have gone Olave ahead of him, but Loveland in the fourth to me is a big hit, especially with some tight end premium in play. And I just think it's a well-balanced build overall. After that, my one complaint here is I don't really like Stroud, but like he got taken so late, like I don't hate it. So overall, I think that's a very balanced team. And I can get on board with that one.
Cool. Okay. I kind of like a little bit of Mad Dog's team. Getting Bowers, where he got in a tight end premium. Jayden Daniels, I liked. Garrett Wilson was a great slide. We already talked about that. A couple decent running backs. Bucky, I'm a little bit lower on this year, but he still got value there, in my opinion. And also I mentioned Brian. I did like his build as well, getting some solid wide receivers in Olave, Rice, and Smith, and then getting some really good quarterback play here from Dart, and solid backups there with Kyler Murray as his third. So a lot of great teams here across the board here, guys. So this was a really sharp draft that we brought everybody into. So we're gonna shout out everybody that joined us today for the draft. Thanks a lot for coming in and tuning up and sharpening your skills. So it'll be on the Pulse dropping Saturday morning, 7:30 Central. So be sure to check that out. Biggs, you want to take us home? Any other comments, boys and girls, before we head out for the night?
All right, kids, buckle up. We're not moving this car unless you're all got your seatbelts on. Let's go home. Thank you for watching. Thank you for participating. If you came over here to watch and you did participate, go to fantasysportsadvice.com. Get our 2026 prospect guide. Put a lot of hard work and effort into it. Like, subscribe, hit the bell if you've never been here before. Like, subscribe, hit the bell if you have been here before and you haven't done that yet. And watch all the FSAN shows. They're all really good.
Yeah. All right, folks, from all of us on FSAN, we will see you next time on the Pulse. Next week, where we're going to have a great guest. Pat Fitzmaurice will be here from Fantasy Pros to join us for some pre-draft conversation. So be sure to check us out next week here. And from all of us on FSN, folks, we hope you win.
We hope you win.
Hope you win.
We've all been there, watching a can't-miss rookie bust while your rival scoops up the next superstar on waivers. The 2026 class is deep, talented, and full of landmines. Do you know who's actually worth the 101? Stop guessing, start scouting. The Fantasy Sports Advice Network 2026 Rookie Prospect Guide is your blueprint for a dynasty. The experts from the Fantasy Forecast, the Devi Dojo, the Dynasty Pulse have logged the hours so you don't have to. From advanced analytical models to raw film grading, we give you the data that translates to Sunday points. Don't just participate in your draft, dominate it. Download the 2026 guide at fsan.com today. Your championship starts here. Okay, so real quickly, somebody